When I was 9, I watched Spider-Man 2 in the big screen, and when it reached a DVD, my family got it and we watched it every Friday. Not many people talk about this movie nowadays. Instead, we get talks about the Avengers, or the Thor Ragnarok franchise, or even the Guardians of the Galaxy, or recently the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Universe. Don't get me wrong, I love those movies, and I might do reviews on those movies in the near future. But I want to talk about this underrated Marvel movie, and I just want to speak my piece about it. Well, here's the summary of the movie. The movie takes place 2 years after the events of the first movie. You get the same voice actors like Tobey Maguire, Kristen Dunst, even James Franco, praising their roles, and featuring the new actor Alfred Molina, whose roles is the new villain Doc Ock. So basically, the movie revolves with the choices of Peter Parker making sacrifices, and with these sacrifices have bitter consequences, like losing MJ as a possible lover, losing Harry as a best friend who started to hate him for taking pictures of Spider-Man, believing that Spider-Man killed his father, constantly losing his jobs and not helping his aunt with financial problems due to being broke. He has to sacrifice all of this to become Spider-Man, and wanting a normal life, so he gives up being Spider-Man just so he can have a normal life. When he gets a taste of it, he goes back to the life of Spider-Man. Now I want to tap into why I feel this movie is a Marvel gem. For those who do not know, this film is following somewhat close to the original comics. The scene where Peter throws his costume in a trash can is similar to the Spider-Man comic called Spider-Man No More. Both the comic and the movie show that even though Peter Parker is Spider-Man, it brought him nothing but unhappiness. Peter's relationship with MJ was destroyed when Peter Parker sacrifices the chance to go to a play when he gave his word just so he could become Spider-Man to stop two thieves. He was always late for class or losing his jobs is because he has to be Spider-Man to save a random citizen from danger or fighting the bad guys. But despite being a hero, making these noble sacrifices, they have dire consequences. A YouTuber that tapped into this topic, which is Closer Look, which I'll provide his video in the description below. What he stated on a message that the film really captured perfectly, and honestly, this movie hits it in the teaching the audience this message, and that is the same message that Aunt May stated to Peter Parker.
Courageous, self-sacrificing people, setting examples for all of us. Everybody loves a hero. People line up for them, cheer them, scream their names, and years later they'll tell how they stood in the rain for hours just to get a glimpse of the one who taught him to hold on a second longer. I believe there's a hero in all of us that keeps us honest, gives us strength, makes us noble, and finally allows us to die with pride, even though sometimes we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most, even our dreams.
This movie showed that even though Peter Parker had to sacrifice so much, his girlfriend, his friend, and everything he holds dear just to be responsible and being a hero, he knows not just because he wants to be, but because it's the right thing to do. And even though he sacrifices his normal life and there was a dire consequences, he does it so he could be a better person, be responsible, and being a better hero. And that was the same moral that the original comics had perfectly executed well. But with the movies nowadays, they just don't have those moralities or philosophies anymore. Maybe I could be wrong and people could debate this in the comments below the video, but I honestly appreciate Spider-Man 2 for showing and executing this moral in doing what is right and being responsible beautifully. I personally believe that this movie, even though it is over 15 years old, is a gem worth looking into. And who knows, maybe you guys can speak your thoughts on this movie as I did now. Don't get me wrong, there are great Marvel movies with great actors, great effects, but none of them have the thrive or moral compass that Spider-Man 2 possessed. If today's Marvel movies and comics had the same morality, same philosophy as Spider-Man 2 showed us how to be responsible, being noble, making sacrifices even though they have bitter consequences, it would make those movies more remarkable. But today's films like Avengers, Thor Ragnarok, Captain America, even Spider-Man Homecoming, they lack the principles and the messages they need to teach the audience. Like I said before, I still love the movies, but they lack the motive and moral messages to the audience and only focuses on making cash grab. I personally appreciate this movie for executing the moral and philosophy very well and beautifully. Other films at the time of 2004 did the same thing, but this film really topped it well. So I say this, Spider-Man 2 is an underrated movie gem that I highly recommend you look into. I am Ben Mazza. May the force be with you all. Have a good day. Twisms.